Okay, this is all of my gear for a 10-day solo canoe trip in Algonquin Park. There's a lot here, and it spills over from the table onto the chairs, and well, it's almost all my gear for the trip. The only thing missing is a few food items that I have refrigerated or frozen. But beyond that, this is everything. So I'll go through it piece by piece and hopefully not drone on too much. Starting down here. So this is my Carbon Reflex, MSR Carbon Reflex 1 tent, and the footprint. AquaQuest guides tarp, 9x9 sil nylon. Thermarest Trekker Neo Air Trekker pad, sleeping pad. Bear rope. Equinox chair 1 with ground sheet. And then over here, this is a bag of bags, a little nothing thing with some like garbage bags in case of items getting wet and just needing to get them away from other things that are dry. This is a little case that from an old camera that I keep my it's really overkill, to be honest, but there's my headlamp, which is not at all overkill, but the case just, I don't know, I feel better carrying it in something like that. Brand new Gransfors small forest stacks. And it's because this is a spring trip, and it was meant to be an early spring trip, and that's why I'm sort of taking this and this also brand new Agua Canyon Boreal 21 folding saw. You know, if I want to be able to process a lot of wood to make a hot fire, you know, and in all kinds of conditions, that's the thought behind that stuff. This is definitely a luxury. I mean, it's weighing a lot. So I don't know how worth it really is to take that. Also, I consider a luxury is this new Equinox Chair 1 and the ground sheet over there. There's a lot of luxuries in this whole thing, which, you know, but it's my vacation. I want to enjoy, so we're going to go with that. Okay, over here, big long length of paracord, tons for stringing the tarp. Too much probably, it's fine, I don't care. This is a little roll-up MEC folding air pillow. It's for sleeping. This is my old Mech Raven sleeping bag, originally rated at -7. I just washed this a few weeks ago, and because it needed it, and I'm kind of regretting that decision because it seems like it's lost loft now. This is all my clothes, pretty much everything except what I'm going to wear, and my rain gear, which we'll get to in a minute. In here, this is a repair kit. This is also weighing too much, to be honest with you. In here, I've got things like a roll of duct tape, which is not a complete roll. I've got my Leatherman tool for various uses. That's the heaviest thing in there. I've got like a sewing kit. I've got extra shoelace, little bits and pieces like this. Come down to the corner here. Oh, one of those, what do you call them? Tripods. I can't, I can't remember the name of those things. Anyway, and then bug net, head net. Hopefully there won't be any bugs, but because I've had to push this trip out to starting on the 17th because of ice conditions in the park this year, that could be the story. And there could be bugs, so I've got that, plus I've got bug repellent, and then of course long clothing. I'm not, I don't do the bug jacket thing. Hopefully it wouldn't get that bad anyway, but I've never done that and I've lived with it. Tox Titanium 1100 pot, and inside this I've got an extra fuel canister for my Gigapower stove, which I'm carrying. So I also have a solo stove, and last year I took that, but this year I decided, I think I'm gonna take I'm going to go back to using a fuel stove, and just no fuss, no muss, and that's just kind of what I feel like doing this time. But I love my I love my twig stove. It works really well, so it's not that I'm not going to do that again for sure, but I figure if I need to cook over a fire, which I will some, I'll just cook over a fire. Easy peasy, no worries. So getting on with it here, this is my kitchen kit. It's a little bag I got from like Dollarama, and in here I've got another fuel canister. There's my Gigapower stove inside that thing, a little measuring cup, my trusty old pot holder thing to hold pot. I've got some of that camp suds stuff, and a scrub pad, and then other pieces for the stove, and then some things like spatula, and you can't see it in there, but other items that I can use for cooking. A couple rolls of toilet paper. Let's not even go there. Okay, then we get into things like camera equipment. So, I already hit on the tripod. Joby Pod, that's what it is. Joby Gorilla Pod, or whatever, small tripod. This is an extra wide-angle lens for my camera that I'm using to film this right now, which is, by the way, Canon SL2. Right now I've got an 18 to 135 millimeter on it. And then this is the 10 to 18 Canon lens that I'll be taking along to grab wide-angle shots. This little bag holds the microphone that's on my camera right now. It's a Rode Video Micro. That does pretty well for my uses out there. This is personal, toiletry stuff, toothbrush, toothpaste, blah 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 blah. And then I've got contact lenses and medications and whatever I need to take in there. InReach satellite communicator. I'll also be taking along my my iPhone to link to that to be able to send messages. And then this case is more camera equipment. This is backup charger cables, SD cards, batteries, etc., and a couple of other mounts for my GoPro I'll have along. Okay, and then over here, of course, is my first aid kit. Don't really need to say a lot about that. All right, then we get into the food. I know this looks like a ton of food. It's actually 1, 2, 3 bags. One of these is breakfasts, one of them is dinners, I can't remember which, and some of it has some backup lunch stuff as well. I think the breakfast bag, I can't remember what's what, and then that's snacks. So lots of food. And then there's my 600 ml of Canadian whiskey, 40 Creek copper pot, good stuff. Then we get over onto the chair, and what we have here is a lunch bag. This will, basically for lunch I keep it pretty simple. Pita bread, salami, cheese, mustard, done. Works well for me out there, and coupled with lots of snacks, can't go wrong. Lots of food on this trip. The food is a big thing, and I should actually talk about this breakfast. And the reason those bags are so big, I am taking fresh food for a couple of nights, and I'm taking things like luxuries on breakfast that I wouldn't, in recent years I haven't been taking so much. Normally I just do oatmeal pretty much the entire trip, but this time I'm actually breaking it up. I do have some oatmeal, but I also have granola for a few days, and I have pancakes and ready crisp bacon for a couple of days that are rest days. So I'm not doing too badly on the food angle for sure. And then I've got some of the fresh stuff, like I indicated earlier, is out in the fridge and freezer, and I won't bother getting into that. Okay, so then this bag here, I'm hoping to carry, in front. It's kind of a day kit type thing, and in here, water filter, Katadyn Be Free. This thing is awesome. You fill it, you just dip it down into the lake. It unscrews. You dip the canister, satchel, whatever you want to call that, into the lake. Draw it out, screw in the filter, and just squeeze. Pop open the lid there, and just it's like a straw. Works brilliantly. And I can also use that and just squeeze water into a pot or into an extra bottle. I do have an extra water bottle actually as well, like a soft-sided but just water bottle that I'll be taking as backup. And then there's the insect repellent and sunscreen. This stuff, if you've never used it, I know it might be difficult to see through the case. This is Great Outdoors bug repellent. It's a cream, and it works so much better than Muscal or Benz or any of that stuff because it does not wear off. It lasts so much longer, and it's much more effective. Still DEET everything. And what else have we got in here? Oh yeah, a little Mora knife there. Fishing kit, fishing lures. There's my little Snow Peak titanium mug, the only drinking vessel that I have, and then some snacks, some gorp in there, and I think I've got a Cliff Bar in there too. So that's sort of for day one, and then I'll sub that out daily as I go forth. This is the little nano 3-liter bag that I carry the camera in. Fishing reel. I still got to get my fishing rod, paddles, life PFD, safety kit, etc. out of my storage locker, so that comes separately. GoPro Hero number 5 on a the clamp mount. Obviously I don't need to describe that. And then there's my full tripod for holding the SLR, the DSLR. That is carbon, but it's not light as a feather. And what I was doing last year on that was carrying it on the rear thwart of the canoe, just putting it on with some ties, some of those bright, I don't seem to have any here, but I do carry a bunch of them. Those twist tie things. Old Jeff's map. Unfortunately, I was really hoping to replace my maps with Jeff's new map on Lostify, but the Algonquin edition is not yet out, so I'm stuck with my old copy of Jeff's map. That's Central, which is still a great tool. Let's be honest, it's still great, but it's not perfectly accurate. And to be honest with you, then I have a Western. I have Central and Western. I could talk about my routes separately, but I have the Central edition and the Western edition. I really need the Western edition because I don't have enough of the route that I want to do on this map. But my Western edition is lost somewhere. I don't know where it is. So I may even have to, I'm going to have to do something. But you can't even buy these anymore. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. I may end up with a, regular park map, which is fine. I may do with those for years and years and years. But anyway, that's the story there. And then finally, rain gear. That'll just go in loosely on the top of the pack and, roll it up. Probably, hopefully tighter than that. So the challenge I've had here, and this is a lot, let's be honest. This is way more than I would, think that I would bring on any kind of lean trip. I had it in this bag here, which is a Mech Slog 70. Oh, there's those tie things that I was talking about. Anyway, I had it in this, and wow, it was weighing 47 pounds with the bag, totally, except for the stuff that I didn't have in there, which was basically everything along these chairs, of course, and of course the camera itself, but everything else was in there. And I could do it, but it's not meant to hold that much weight. I mean, this bag tops out at probably comfortably 35 pounds to carry in that. And, 47, I mean, it doesn't sound like a big difference, 12 pounds, but it is. These hip straps are just, it's not big enough. It's not robust enough to carry this much weight. The problem is that I really like the design of this bag. I like how compact it is. I like dealing with that size. It's much more comfortable out there. So now I have a challenge where, I either get rid of a bunch of my gear, which I really don't want to do, or I find another pack. So I went and pulled this out of storage. This is a Eureka 115 liter dry bag canoe pack. Good thing about this one is harness system, much more robust hip belt for carrying. I think that'll do much better. But the problem with this is the only time I ever tried to use this bag with a solo canoe, the bag kept hitting the seat. So I'm hoping to get a chance to try it out here today. Go out, test out carrying this bag loaded full with my canoe, and see how I do. Anyway, so that's it. This is this is definitely, a ton of gear. Things that I would naturally, and it's funny because I was going out of my way to make things light with some of the choices I've made, but things that I need to that I could easily, you know, get rid of and consider just luxuries would definitely be these two items here. Even this tarp is, you know, heavier than I probably need. I could get away with I do have a smaller, more lighter, even lighter weight tarp. You know, this thing, definite luxury. That's a few pounds. Even the little pillow there, and of course the food items. I could pare all that down, and of course probably the biggest item is all this camera stuff. Right? It just weighs a lot, and you know, at the end of the day, I'm probably looking at 60 pounds of gear here when I factor all that in. But it's okay. It's going to be a good trip either way. So, thanks for watching.